So Microsoft, I was told, had the biggest game this year releasing at the end of this year into Game Pass, and it was Stalker 2. Now, this game's been in development for a long time, and let me be clear here. There seems to be this forced melding of PC audience and console audience when it comes to what Microsoft's doing, and the expectation that games that PC gamers like or series that they've played and console gamers haven't is just going to magically transfer to success on the console with console gamers. And this is an example of one of them. Now, I remember hearing about Stalker back in the day, but I've never touched a PC when it comes to video gaming. I've always been on a console, so I just never really paid it any mind. Kind of like Half-Life 2 when they were talking about it back in the day, the original Half-Life, and, looked cool, but never really touched it until the original Half-Life came to the PlayStation 2, and then Half-Life 2, the orange box, came to the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and that is an example of a great game born on the PC, never really touched console until late in its lifespan, and turned out great for me. Stalker is another one, and I came into this game, here I am playing the game, and I gotta tell you, I don't think console gamers are gonna love this game. Sure, some people will, but I don't think enough are going to really gravitate towards this to make this a huge release for Game Pass. But let's talk about the real issue here. I started playing this game, and the first thing I noticed were some of the character models. When you're talking to people in first person, they're talking to you. The character models look sort of last gen or late gen Xbox 360 era almost, and I just felt like, okay, it's a first-person shooter. Maybe the atmosphere is a lot better, and the atmosphere is better. Like, for instance, here, as I'm shimmying along and ducking and covering and cowering over things, and I'm about to use, I think, a knife here. I pull out a knife, and I use it to break through the boards here. Interestingly enough, later on, I use a gun on a lock, and it has no effect, but the knife breaks the lock, so I don't know why that's a thing. But there are just a ton of issues that I noticed here, and as I'm playing it, I'm thinking to myself, earlier in this day, I was checking out the Resistance trilogy, and you have to stream that game. You cannot purchase them, and I had a better experience playing those performance-wise than I am right here playing Stalker 2 on the Xbox Series X. Now, if you're going to tell me that, well, this game is really a PC game and the Xbox Series X is weak, listen, Microsoft's offering this as a perk in Game Pass, day and date. So why shouldn't I expect the game to at least be performant to the system that I have? And the idea that I keep hearing, watch this right here, by the way, right? There's a lock. Can't get through it. I wonder what I'm going to do here. Well, it's a sim, right? So the gun should be able to break the lock. Nope, nothing happens. Let me see. Oh, I got bullets in this gun here. Maybe a knife, because the bullet obviously didn't go through the lock, but maybe the knife will work. And 1, 2, look at that, right through steel. Incredible. No bullet, but the knife works. Okay. So I'm sort of saying to myself, well, it doesn't really feel like a realistic sim, but it is Stalker, the world of Stalker, so I can't really fault it for not being quote unquote realistic, but you would expect a bullet to break open a lock and not a knife. I just feel like this game is another example of this idea that a subscription service like Game Pass can just be whatever, because essentially they're saying you can play this game the day it comes out without spending $70 on it. You can just subscribe for $20 a month. And I don't see that as a benefit. I don't see the idea of something being incomplete, but in a subscription service, okay. And I feel like the people that say, well, it'll be optimized later on, and I'll play it later because there's so much to play in Game Pass right now. It's kind of like the Mike Tyson fight on Netflix, right? You expected top quality, but what did you get? You got choppiness. You got a terrible broadcast. It's like people saying, well, I'll wait till the fight's over, maybe a couple days, and then I'll watch it. And in the meantime, I'll go to new releases on Netflix. Let's see what's a new release here. Oh, Jurassic Park. Yeah, that's new. I'll watch that while I wait for everyone else to enjoy the Tyson fight the day and date that it comes out. I don't understand that. You're supposed to expect quality. Microsoft said you're supposed to expect quality. You're paying for a subscription service. The selling point is day and date, and yet we've gotten I think Hellblade 2, which is just what happened to that, wasn't a very good game at all. Certainly wasn't the best looking game I'd ever seen, even on console this generation. And then, what do we got? Stalker 2. And we're going to end the year with Indiana Jones, which, if you've been following it a bit, people were very excited like they were with Stalker 2. And then they tried it, demoed it, and they came away wanting. So, I'm not sure if these big first-party day-and-date games are really driving adoption for Game Pass. Now, if you're somebody who loves the Stalker series and you've played it on the PC back in the day and somehow you migrated to console, then you'll probably love this. But I feel like Microsoft really needs to pay attention to the differences in the audience and stop pretending that the console audience and the PC audience is the same thing and will react to the same type of content, because clearly here, for me, somebody who's been playing on console since consoles began, folks, this ain't it for me. And if it's not it for me, it's not it for a lot of people that have been playing on console for a long time. Now, there are plenty of immersive sims out there. State of Decay does well on the console. I get it. It's not that sims can't do well on console. I just feel like if you're going to put your best foot forward, then at least you should have a sneaker on that foot and not just bare, smelly, stinky feet. And that's what Stalker 2 is upon release in Game Pass. So, would I recommend downloading all 148 or 58 gigabytes of this game for quote-unquote free and trying it out? Sure, why not? Go ahead if you're subscribed to Game Pass. Would I say that this, along with Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones, are main drivers for adoption of an Xbox Series X console and a subscription to Game Pass? No. This feels like Redfall. Releases, has a lot of problems. Later on, they'll fix it. Now, that game was more tailored to console gamers than this game as a survival sim, but you get the idea. I'm expecting things to release and to be absolutely stellar. I'm not one of these people that's going to sit here and say, well, it's okay for it not to be on par with other first-party releases from, say, PlayStation, because they're asking $70 and Microsoft is only asking $20 a month. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you give money to something and expect less than you're getting somewhere else for a little bit more money? It just doesn't make sense to me. So here it is, Stalker 2. I would recommend probably checking it out. Like I said, if you like these type of games, if you've played it maybe on the PC in the past and you want to sit in front of your big television and use a controller and just use a console because of the ease of use, I would say good luck. Me personally, I'm probably not going to go back to this game, and this game is not going to keep me subscribed to Game Pass. I subscribe month to month. I cancel a few months later. I'll subscribe just to check out Stalker 2. As soon as I subscribe, I go into the settings and I hit do not resubscribe. They give me the date that I'm going to be out of Game Pass, which is a month later, and I'm fine with that. So far, I haven't seen anything that really keeps me engaged in Game Pass and wanting to keep it rather than just try out these games that come out, because like I said, you go from Hellblade 2, Redfall, and then you've got Stalker 2. Now you're going to have Indiana Jones. So if we consistently get these mid to low 70 rated games, not that ratings mean everything, but an aggregate score from multiple sites throughout the industry has to have some sway and meaning, then I don't see why I should stay subscribed to Game Pass, and I don't see why you shouldn't expect better quality when it comes to the games that are supposed to sell you on the subscription service. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.